Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to recap whatever we have learned about HTML in the past few days. And this will be the last video in the HTML5 playlist. We're just going to go everything. I'm not going to go exactly in detail because this video will take a lot of while. More while than it did in the other videos because obviously this is all of the things I taught to you repeated, and it's not going to be like a 20 something video, probably more. Okay, so first I told you that the doc type HTML element is the declaration that this document's type is HTML. Next is the HTML language in which we have typed in is English. Then when we have the starting tag for the head and the ending tag for the head, then the body, the starting tag for the body and the ending tag for the body. The starting tag for HTML and the ending tag for HTML. Think of it this way. We do not want to put the body tag inside the head tag because if you look at the human body, if you look at any creature's body, the head comes first, then the rest of the body does. The head comes first, then the neck, the shoulders, the chest, and all the rest come. You have to put the head before you put the body tag. You have to put the body tag after you put the head tag. The head tag contains all the metadata, and I said before that some of this information does not matter at this stage. This is default for web page. If you write it, it's okay. If you don't write it, it's okay. And remember, we did this using the Emmet abbreviation. Usually doc type HTML, then head. Usually the doc type HTML element, then the HTML element, then the head element, then a body element. That's it usually. Also, the head element and the body element needs to be in the HTML tag. This first metadata, first meta defines the character set, which is UTF-8. The second metadata tells that it's basically saying that the IE Internet Explorer is compatible to Microsoft Edge. It's basically the compatibility of the web page with HTML. The compatibility of this web page with the Internet Explorer. Internet Explorer is Microsoft Edge, but we're using Google right now. It doesn't really matter, like I said before. This third metadata set, this is what matters. If you want a responsive web page, meaning that if we want to see it on a bigger screen, or like if you want to see it on a bigger screen, like on a when you want to present the screen or a laptop screen, or if you want to display it on a small screen like a phone screen, it will adjust you on its own. Then it's a title tag. this is different because look, it says document right now. If I change it, for example, and if I delete this, so now I will go what it was in default. But let's just write document. Next, I think we did the typography, whatever it's called. We did the headings first. There are 6 tags for the heading, and they are basically the topics that you want shown on your web page. Like, for example, if you're looking through a huge blog post or like a newspaper article, or if you're looking at something, at a list of something, and you want something big and bold that would tell you what the text is about, right? You want to know basically a summary, but a 1 word or 4 words at most, 5 words maybe, but not an entire sentence, right? It's a sentence that has more than 10 something words, 7, 8 something words, more than 5 words or 6. That's where the headings come in. The heading number 1 is the biggest heading. Heading number 2 is the second biggest, third biggest, fourth biggest, third biggest, third smallest, second smallest, and then the smallest. It can also be changed, like I showed in the below. Like I showed in the second recent video, that it can be changed, but these are the default. This is the default size. These are default sizes. Let's skip these for a moment. Then is your paragraph, as I said, that then is a paragraph which has the P tag. As I said, Visual Studio Code has a sample paragraph emit abbreviation, the lorem ipsum, and it is the lorem ipsum is very famous in the coding world. It's when you want something sample with random words, random letters, symbols, spaces, etc. In paragraph, we did the point problem too. The point problem was that if we wrote like a poem, like I wrote the first 4 lines of, what do you call it? A river from the Water Babies, written by Charles Kingsley. If you wrote it in a form of a poem, but we use the P tag, it come like this in 1 line. But if we use the pre tag, re, then it would come in a poem form. Then we did the BRHR. These are self-closing elements. The BR is this big white space you see between these two paragraphs, and these lines is the HR element. Let's go to the formatting elements in HTML. The B element is the bold element. We made ipsum over here bold. Control. Let me just zoom in for you. The B element and the strong element are similar because the B element obviously it's bold, so it will be bold, but the strong element is typically always bold. Okay. Then is the I element, which is the italics element, and the EM element, which is the emphasis element. EM and I element are the same because they are both italics. The B element and strong element are same, and the I element and the EM element are same. Okay. In the second paragraph, we did the small element first. The small element is something that is an element that makes the selected font smaller than the selected text's font size smaller than the other size. So let's say this is bigger than this. Then we did the mark, which is basically that highlights a text. Then the delete symbol, which is this symbol, element, sorry. It marks a line saying that you do not want to say it, but usually I've seen people use it as something they want to say, but they can't say according to what actually is happening. They can't speak their minds, but they want to tell, so they do it. Then is the ints element, meaning that a new word was inserted. So if I put this in the ints, Control X. If I put harem in ints, then that would mean that we cut this word and put this harem. Oopsie. We can delete this, right? Because this doesn't really say anything. Okay. Then we worked on commenting, which is writing something that won't be visible on your official web page. It will be visible in your code, and it is as a instruction manual, as a guide to what's going on, as topics, basically as headings for for you and the people you share this file with, basically. Then we did the lists and the tables. The lists, there are two types of lists, as I mentioned, the ordered list and the unordered list. The ordered list has the OL tag, and it is numbered as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and the rest of the counting. Like this, it's always numbered. And you can put anything you want with this. You can in both lists the LI tag is because, well, lists. It represents a list item. And it doesn't matter what you put in these because well, you can write whatever you want inside the tag. Whatever you want, whatever your web page is for. Then is the UL tag, which is the unordered and is bulleted. Usually, as I said, the unordered list is used for navbar, but as far as usually, as I said before, the navbar, usually as I said before, the unordered tag is used for the navbar. You see in the navigation panel, you see on top of the web page that helps you navigate across everything. Like it's always like home, about us, contact us, shop. Basically, that helps you navigate, like home, about us, contact us, follow us, everything. But as far as HTML goes, the unordered list is just a list. Then is the table. Totally random names, but we use the table tag, which is basically in the table document, in the table whatever it's called, it is the table tag is like the HTML tag in the HTML document. And the reason why I'm making this comparison, making the similarity, is because as the same way it's the after the HTML tag, after the table tag, it's the head and then the body and then the table again. Inside the head for the table contains all of your headings. In HTML, it contains the metadata, which is basically the same thing. In the T head is the headings. I think I said this before. And then inside the T head tag, the table head tag, we will be putting the headings, right? So we'll be putting the TR tag, which is the table row tag. And inside that, we will be writing the TH tag, header cell, or table heading. So we put name, age, and Gmail. Name, age, and Gmail. Then the body, which all the actual data is. Then we'll be putting a TR for one set of data. We put 4 names and 4 ages and 4 Gmails, emails, whatever you want. So you're putting 4 pairs of TR starting tag and TR ending tag. Now, if in the body we are not using the table heading tag, right? So you're putting the table data tag. So first I said Lauren Daniels, age 45, and her Gmail is laurend@gmail.com. Complete fake names, but I did what came to my mind at the moment. Then in the second TR tag, we put Sophia Brown, age 35, and Gmail softbrown@gmail.com. On completely unrelated note, I just want to change this to soft BH for some reason. Is that even the spelling for it? Or is that only for Sophie? Anyways, in the third DR tag, we put James Johnson, age 25, and Gmail jjohnson@gmail.com. Then the TR tag is in the last and final fourth TR tag, we put the TD. We put Elijah Smith, age 15, and Gmail Elijah Smith @gmail.com. And then that's the end of your table. Yay. Next, we learned the forms. And we also learned what attribute and the div tag was. Forms are like submission forms. Like the first name, what's your first name, your last name, the register forms, the login forms. First is the form tag, then we put the label tag, and we put the label first name. Then we put the input tag and the attribute type and name. The type of the form was text and the name was first name. As I said, the name is where you have the forms to be submitted, but as this is a form where no functionality will be, this is the structure of a form. The name attribute doesn't really matter, but still, just for deeper for a deeper look, he wrote this. The same is for the last name as it was for the first name. And the type is text, but for the name attribute, we used the uppercase. We use uppercase instead of using the dash. Then we did the age. The type is now number and the name is age. Like we can select which number we want. I also said that we could set a value, but we didn't want that. Really? So it's nothing now. Then we did the birthday with the type date and the name birthday. And the date basically lets you select whatever you want and all that. It lets you select, it lets you do all of this. You can also select from here and all that. Then we did the gender, and this was different because instead of using the input tag, we used the select tag, select element. The select element was gender, and for the selection we needed options, so we put the value attribute male, and then we put the name male, the value attribute female, and then we put female, the value attribute other, then we put other, and then the value attribute rather not say, and we put rather not say. You can choose this. Okay, then we did the label email, type email, and name email. Now this we did because we could have done text, yes. We could have done the type text, but the email is something that tells you that the email that you inserted was valid, that it was an actual email instead of a fake one. Then we did the feedback. Instead of using the input tag, input element, we used text area element, and we named it feedback. Because when you write feedback, you usually want to see your whatever you wrote, your entire the entire thing you wrote. Because if you wrote like something in the text area in the input box that didn't have the text area tag, it would go in one line and it wouldn't let you. It'd go in one line. But with feedback, with the text area, you can control how big it is that you want it to be. How big you want the area to be that you want to write. You can go down obviously, but still it helps a lot. It helps a lot. Then we did div. And we did it all the way down here. We let this space so that we don't have to look at the exact end at the very end of the page, but we had some space which would let us see things. So that we didn't have to crane our neck to look down. Then we did the font styling elements. we did the font size element, the font, we did the font size. We started from 100 till 10. So this is 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, and 10. We did gaps of 10. Then this is the font style element in the style attribute, obviously. And this is the italic element, and this is the initial element. Then we did the font family, which is what fonts there. This is the Verdana, Geneva, the Homa, Sans Serif. This is the Cambria, Goshen, Georgia, Times New Roman, Serif font family. Then we did the font weight, which is how thick you want your font to be. This is the lighter font. This is the lighter one. It's, well, light, not bold. This is the bolder, and this is the 9900. So this is the 900. I do not know. It's basically the same as bolder, but instead of using words, you can use numbers. Then we did the this was it for the font tag, and we used the color tag. Not, we're talking, this is the font tag, so we didn't change that. The color with the font tag element was in HTML4, but in 5 it's with just color instead of like font dash color. You can search the color and the background color using the name, and just so you could see more clearly, I also increased the font size. But another way of a color is the RGB way. The RGB way. This way. This is the red, blue, green, and the alpha value. This is that how much red we put in the color, how much green we put in the color, and how much blue we put in the color. And the alpha value is just how much opacity there is. The RGB's range is from 0 till 255 to 155, and the and the alpha values, or the opacity's range is from 0 to 1, meaning 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then 1. 1 is the highest number and 0 is the lowest number. So if I put, we can check from the background color, 0.5 is this. If I had put 1, then it'd be really dark like this. But 0.4 seems nice. So change like this. That's all we did in HTML. And this is the recap, and this is the last video in the HTML series. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video, which will be the start of the CSS crash course. Bye.